Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.
Lugosi was born in Hungary in October of 1888, and during the 1920s, he made a name for himself on Broadway, portraying the role of Dracula on the stage. Around the same time, the MGM Film Studios was in financial turmoil, and the new studio on the block, Universal, had acquired director Todd Browning from MGM, who directed Lon Chaney Sr. in 1927's London After Midnight. Universal wanted Browning to direct the new film version of Dracula. Browning and Universal tried to get the rights from MGM to cast Lon Chaney Sr. for the lead role, but Chaney had died of throat cancer. Lugosi then was naturally cast for the lead role. A Spanish version of Dracula was filmed scene for scene on the same sets during the main production's downtime, and many believe the Spanish version was and is superior to the English production version. But nonetheless, this would not stop Bela Lugosi to solidify the legacy of the Prince of Darkness. In 1932, Bela Lugosi starred in the classic voodoo film White Zombie, which was filmed in only 11 days on borrowed sets from other known films such as The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Frankenstein. It is reported that Lugosi was paid less than $1,000 for this role. Another film that Lugosi was reported to be paid very low for was The Island of Lost Souls. Lugosi was also second billing to actor Charles Laughton, who was known for The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Laughton was also married to Elsa Lanchester, known for her role as the bride in The Bride of Frankenstein. It is interesting to note that Bela Lugosi had turned down the role of the monster in the original Frankenstein production in 1931. In 1935, Todd Browning and Bela Lugosi would once again work together and be reunited for the filming of Mark of the Vampire. This was actually a remake of Todd Browning's original film London After Midnight, which starred Lon Chaney Sr., and Lon Chaney Sr. was actually the original selection for Universal's 1931's Dracula, which ended up going to Bela Lugosi. As noted before, Lugosi had rejected the role of the monster in the original Frankenstein, due mostly in part because there was no dialogue. Ironically, Bela Lugosi had more lines of dialogue in the trailer for Mark of the Vampire than in the actual final edit of the film. The twilight of Lugosi's career found him share the screen in a few films with Lon Chaney Jr. A couple films were as the character of Igor in 1939's The Son of Frankenstein and 1942's The Ghost of Frankenstein. In 1941's The Wolfman, Lugosi played a werewolf-stricken gypsy named Bela, who later gives the werewolf curse to Lawrence Talbot, played by Chaney Jr. Lugosi had to turn down a similar role years earlier in the film The Werewolf of London. The role was for the character Dr. Yagami. Lugosi would finally give in and concede to playing the role of the monster for 1943's Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. Lon Chaney Jr. would also reprise his role as the melancholy lycanthrope Lawrence Talbot. The film was a double sequel, with it being the fifth in the Frankenstein series and the second direct sequel for The Wolfman. Much like other horror stars of the time, Bela Lugosi racked up a large catalog of films, sometimes pairing with other famed horror star Boris Karloff. In the end, Lugosi left 5 wives and 1 son, and yes, the urban legend is true. Bela Lugosi was buried in his legendary Dracula costume and cape.